here to answer your questions about classic minis, about life, about anything. I think we're going to have a really good time tonight.
I always try and say, don't I, that my channel is about getting rid of the black art of working on minis.
For me, getting into minis, it was I had a newer mini. 2007 was one of the BMW minis. It was a Cooper S, and I found out about classics. I'm like, you know what? That's what I want. That's what I want.
There you are now. Hello, everybody.
Amazing.
How did I get into minis? It's something that just kind of happened from just one really good friend of mine asked me to build them, and I said, yeah, I'm doing nothing this weekend. I'll do that.
Man, it's funny how quickly things can change.
It's awesome to have so much really good fun chat with you all. And
yep, that's the best part. I'd really like to make this a regular thing.
Thank you to everybody again, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone, and you know the drill. Enjoy those minis.
See you guys on the next one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Let's Talk Shit.
Hello from Ireland. Wow, I just watched the the end of that little intro clip, and I had a lot of hair.
Yeah. Where did it all go?
I was like, whoa, we were going through a bit of something there, so we were. Okay, I'm going to say that it was all down to the fact that it was lockdown and we couldn't get hairdressers, and nothing to do with the fact that I left it exactly 2 months without getting my hair cut. I think that
2 months.
was definitely 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. Yeah.
Dude, I get like 3 more millimeters on my hair, and I'm like, okay, this has got to go. This is too much. I whip out the buzzer, and I'm like Sinead O'Connor in the bathroom.
I thought it was like is it not the Miley? Is it Miley Cyrus? Is it a Miley Cyrus you pull?
Yes, I think she did a bald thing.
She did a maneuver,
right?
Didn't she? Yeah. So it's just because of mini ownership, you have to do a Miley Cyrus once a week, like.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, otherwise you get oil in your hair, and and I've been under the car a lot this last couple weeks, so it's been so dirty. It's been so dirty.
Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's not Miley, it's Brittany, isn't it? Yeah, we just.
Oh yes. I thought they both went short, and Brittany did the shave. Miley just went short hair, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe.
We need to hone in on our Brittany Miley moments. Like, I mean, really?
Yeah.
Are you even there? Are you even a member of the digital media community if you don't know these trends?
Well, I lost my badge, I think, so it must not be. Yeah.
I don't think I ever got one. They were handing out the badges, and I was like that schoolboy in the corner who was burning insects with the magnifying.
Oh, don't mind him.
He's not ready for a badge.
Oh.
He'll prick himself with the little sharp thing that he used to hold the badge on with. Oh God, yeah. All right.
So good.
So you're all very welcome, and in the truest style of Let's Talk Shit, we are currently talking absolute shit. But anyway,
very important shit, but it's still shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you gotta get there. Hello to the Gentry Parenthood. I see.
Oh yes. Hey, mom and dad.
Very important. Like, I mean, you don't say hello to your mom and dad. I believe mine are watching too, but they come from the same tech level as me, so they have no idea how to comment. Dad might get a comment in here shortly. I'm gonna get told off now and get.
Oh yeah.
They literally live in the house next door, so I could any moment now a hand might just come in here and just like.
So wait, so they can just come and watch it live. They should just get some chairs and just sit in the garage and just like drinking their tea.
I don't understand why they don't. I mean, you get this. Like, where would you get it?
So now you're trash talking your parents too. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna regret that one later, aren't I? Huh? Yeah.
We've got a fair few amount of people in here tonight.
Wow.
Yeah. Hello, Jake.
Hello, everybody.
Israelites United. Hello. Mini Performance, Adrian, Gavin. Hello, hello, hello. Trevor.
Mr. Godsmith, hello.
South Aziz. Man, it's early there right now.
Yeah, what time would it be there?
So I think it's the beginning of tomorrow there.
Okay. So it's like
That's-
Monday.
Yeah.
I'm tripping
Speaking
out.
to us from the future.
Whew. Wow. Yeah. Tell me what I shouldn't do. What's the lotto numbers there right now? That's the many numbers. Oh, God knows we need them.
Yes.
Yeah, so today's episode, so we're going to talk all about tools. How very exciting.
And not the two that are talking into microphones right now.
Oh, you got there before me.
Yes.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, we're on fire tonight. Yeah. Well,
But yes,
today
yeah.
for you, tonight for me, I suppose. Yeah.
It's still a beautiful, wonderful autumn fall day here.
Yeah.
Sun's out. Power went out earlier for no reason.
Oh,
No big
yeah. Yeah, you were saying earlier on it was like 22 degrees or 23 degrees there. I can't get over that. Right now, I am being brave, and I'm sitting in my workshop in this phenomenal T-shirt that I don't know.
That was a very nice shirt.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, and I'll be honest, I'm freezing my balls off. But,
Below screen, your legs are just
yeah.
happen to stay warm.
I have a blanket down here. Yeah, it's like 7 degrees.
Oof. Yeah, I'd be shivering. Yeah. That's getting to the extra cold territory for the South. I mean, it does get below freezing here, but not, it's not as brutal as some places in the U.S. That's for sure. I feel like
totally.
every episode we somehow work the weather in.
Yeah. That is me. That is 100% me. That's Ireland. All we do is ask each other about the weather. It's in a vain, vicious hope that it might not be what it actually is. That's all it is. It's just, do Americans ask each other that much about the weather? I bet you don't. You just go, "Wow, it's another day."
Sometimes in my day job, sometimes in our meetings, if it's especially weird weather, like if there's a crazy storm or if it's crazy cold or hot or something, yeah. But most of the time, not so much. That's in small talk territory, like painful small talk territory.
No,
that's not implying anything.
It's literally like we will if there is a half a degree difference in temperature or the wind is blowing just ever so slightly stronger, it'd be like, wow, did you see that day out there? Wow, it's a half degree warmer than it was yesterday.
Can you believe it? Y'all need some more wild weather, sounds like.
Yeah,
you want some tornadoes?
Yeah. No, we are fine. Heavy rain stops play here. 2.5 inches of snow and it's over. It's game over. Batten down the hatches. Worry about bread. Yeah. Anyway, I can't believe
we could probably spend the whole episode talking about the weather.
We're gonna have to do a weather episode, and everybody who comments tells us all about their weather in where they live. Yeah.
Yes, I actually think I would enjoy that.
Oh, we would have so much fun.
Could do a giveaway, whoever's having a storm.
Give us a thumbs up on this video if you want us to do a weather one. We
yes,
totally
please.
Do it. Yeah. Give us thumbs up. If we see a few thumbs ups there, it's going to happen. All right. I'm going to look at some of these comments. What is going on?
Yeah, it's rolling in here. There's a lot of recommendations for tools. I'm really curious to see where we align. Some of these are some pretty serious tools. MIG welder, valve spring compressor. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I seen. What was Mini Performance saying? Oh yeah, he was saying how deep you're going to go. Like, are you going to do little bits and bobs, or are you going to restore a car? Yeah, and yeah, that's what's going to be, isn't it? Like, when you suggested this episode a couple of weeks ago, and I said, yeah, that's a good topic. We should talk about that. immediately my mind was going towards, all of the cool tools like, lathes and mill
Yeah.
machines and stuff like that. And I was like, and you were like, well, I was kind of thinking of spanners and maybe socket sets. And, it's like, yes, yes, yes. Rein it back in, rein it back in. But it is, do you know what? It goes tool ownership goes hand in hand with, I think, the same mantra of a person that wants to own a Mini, right? Because
Yes.
we geek out, I think, don't we? We geek out
Hmm.
in tools.
Hmm.
I think we do.
And don't get me wrong, I love me some serious tools. Like I've got some really really fun stuff in there that's very specific to the Mini, or like just very niche tools. But I think that's where we're going to have some really neat perspectives, because you're going to have this perspective
Totally.
of the really really complex, or complex is maybe not the right word, but like specialized tools, things that require
Yeah.
more expertise to use. Whereas like I can kind of help bridge in the starters. What do you need to get started working on your Mini, or doing some of the small jobs around the car.
Well,
So I think it's gonna be great.
I'm going to give you one now that this really opened my mind up actually, because, having been working on minis for as long as I have, I think I got into the mindset of tools, of just having the right tools there and expecting I have the right tools there.
Yes.
But when I bought the Land Rover, of course, everything on the Land Rover is made in Whitworth, which
Yep. And it's
I,
double the
I,
size.
I have got Whitworth spanners, right? I do have some, but like the last time I used a Whitworth spanner is definitely 15 years ago. And like I arrived up all excited one day to work on my Land Rover with a bunch of AF spanners, and literally nothing fitted anything.
Oh
And
my
like when
God.
that happened on the Mini, you wedged a metric spanner that was in between the two, and you were like, haha,
Enough.
I have one that kind of fits. But that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Whatever way,
Oh,
there is no equivalent. Like you can throw
no
all the
way.
AF spanners and all the metric spanners you have, and the chances of you actually having a spanner that will fit, slim to none. If it's in Whitworth, you got to have yourself a set of Whitworth spanners. And I actually, for the first time in definitely 15 years, went out and bought a spanner set because I have a motley collection of Whitworth that you know
Yeah.
all with
Piece
the wrong
together
one. I
hodgepodge.
definitely, yeah, well, because people gave me Whitworth spanners all the time, and I guarantee you the ones they gave me was the ones they never used,
Yeah. Yeah.
which are the ones that I am also never going to use.
Oh, that's something
So
to
yeah,
good. That's something to keep in mind. Is like, and it's true of, I think, especially. It sounds like Land Rovers. This is something I am learning. So if I ever want to get into Land Rovers, I better get some of these tools. But I think it's true for minis in general. A lot of people, the required tool requirements aren't super complex, but they're not directly related to your modern cars. Like the Mini, what is a torque spit? That doesn't exist on a Mini,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like people,
No.
especially in the EU, are like, well, I have all of these metric tools, and
Yeah,
while the
yeah, yeah.
metric tools, as you said, can kind of work, it's an SAE car. It was an Imperial car, and most of the
Totally.
bolts on them were
Yeah.
SAE as well. American
Well,
number
now
one.
I have to. I have to. Freedom spanners. I have to. I have to. I have to take you up on. If good old Donald stood in for a little bit longer, the new term for SAE was
Oh
if you call me
God.
freedom spanners.
Yeah, this is my freedom wrench and my
Freedom
freedom
wrench.
sockets.
Oh yes. Um, no, I have to. No, I'm going to correct you now. No, I'm going to pick you up
Okay,
on this.
okay, okay.
You said that there is no place on a Mini for torques or what. Yes, there is, Cole.
Okay,
Anytime
okay.
you have an Allen key that has rounded off, everyone knows you beat a Torx into it.
So I knew
Everybody
you were
knows
gonna say something about some stupid Allen key. Oh, you have just got me on a tangent. Allen wrenches are the worst tool ever created.
Oh,
Why? Why? There's
they're gone.
barely any torque force on them. There's like no biting.
You,
Like, oh my God. Oh,
100% you know what happened, right? Somebody was like trying to tighten a bolt one day and the square was too wide. And they went, why don't I put the square on the inside? oh, this makes so much sense. And they did literally zero engineering calculations, not even a tiny bit of one. There was a
Yes.
German guy going, why are we doing this? Why is this a thing?
What?
It's now the standard? What? We can
Why?
make everything like this? Yeah. Yeah.
And they still
I-
creep
I-
into everything.
They're
Like
everywhere. I buy them because they look nice.
same. They do look nice. Maybe that's what it is. Because
No, it is. It's not.
like MED has some amazing hardware, like the pulley bolt, for your crankshaft pulley, and it
Beautiful.
has a Allen key on it. It looks nice,
Horrendous.
but
I actually just recently sent a mutual friend of ours a bolt for, I think it was a flywheel bolt, and he was like, what is the best bolt to put my flywheel on with? And I was like, man, if you can get yourself a good old school original flywheel bolt, that is the one. They are made
Yeah.
of the best stuff. They are the business. And
Mhm.
he was like, all right, what about the Allen key or the black? And I was like, just a good old fashioned AF bolt. Just put it on there and forget about it. It sickens me, but it's the truth.
It's a shame. And if you want to
Oh.
get something that's like real nice material for bolts now, you have to pay so much money, and you normally have to mail them in. Like like these bolts that I have behind me are this grade 8 steel, and like I mean, they're not cheap, but
No.
they're strong. But
Do you ever notice that grade 12.9 is incredibly popular in Allen keys? Do you ever notice that? Like
yes,
anything.
I have.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the reason for that is just to make the top of the Allen key just hard enough that it might actually last torquing it once.
Once. One time.
Yeah, one time.
That's all I want.
Yeah. Yes, it's just yeah. Oh God. Yeah. There you go. An interesting comment there from our good friend Mini Performance. Paul will be raiding all the auto jumbles and farm sales. Already there, done it, love it. Absolutely. I actually found a load of AF in a antique store when I was on holidays during the summer. I didn't buy it, but it was there.
But you thought about it.
Oh, I did.
What is auto jumble? What is that? I see it mentioned twice here.
It is a garage sale, but where we bring all the stuff to like one big yard somewhere.
Oh, interesting. So
like there'll be like a pub. That's really popular. Like at a pub.
And so
car
people
park.
bring your stuff there?
Yeah, and you bring a little table, and you like everybody sets up a table all around the periphery of the yard, and you put all your stuff on the table, and people come around and they grab all the they make you offers and stuff. Yeah. And
Interesting.
yeah.
I've never experienced something like that. Like we have antique shops here, but when we have garage sales, usually it is literally out of your own garage or in your front yard or something like that. And
is there not a thing of bring and buy? Is that not a thing in America that I heard about? Maybe it's not a southern thing. Maybe it's a western thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I've never
bring
heard the
and
term
buy.
here.
Yeah. You got to go Google it now. Like,
yeah,
maybe
I'm about
it
to.
could be
it
could be a European term. I don't know. Yeah, I mix up my Americanisms and Europeanisms all the time.
Yeah, so I see a few people saying swap meets, but I will say that swap meets are usually only part of big automotive shows. So like if we were having a mini gathering, we would have a swap meet at the gathering, but they don't happen independently, to my knowledge.
Sorry. Auto jumble equals one person's scrap, another person's vital part. No. Let me. It's one person's scrap versus another person's new scrap that they viciously believe is not scrap and are going to keep in a press for 100 years and then figure out it's actually scrap and then bring it to another auto jumble.
And then the cycle continues.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're about 25 minutes into this chat, I'm going to start telling about some tools. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe we alternate. I'll do a couple and then you do a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So
I've got like an array here.
Oh, nice. I do have a whoop. Well, you got one less on the array now.
No, it's back. Here it is.
So We were mentioning before, I kind of focused on some of the like basic getting started tools.
Yeah.
When you buy a Mini, and you maybe have a garage that's like loosely outfitted, or you have nothing. Maybe it's the first car you've ever bought that you have to work on. There are some tools that I would definitely recommend to start off, just like a good set of wrenches, spanners, depending on where you're
Couldn't
at.
agree more.
And I would get metric and imperial ones. Having both of them is hugely beneficial. Keep them separated. It makes it a little easier. But having both will allow you to get everything that's on the car off, because depending on the year of the Mini, you end up with some SAE bolts. If you're places outside of the US, I do have some metric stuff on my car, but most of the time you'll end up with this weird amalgamation. And so you can always get stuff off. And I have two brands that I actually would really recommend. You can get whatever you want. You can go to Harbor Freight or whatever your like inexpensive tool store is. You'd be set. But I am a big fan. It's a company called Tecton. And these have deep well. This is a deep well. Black is their SAE line. And then red is their metric. Same deal. Same hold setup. And I have a shallow and deep set. This is what I use for everything. And then you need an accompanying socket wrench for it, or driver, depending on how you say it. But for me, I also have a different, this one has a fiber handle on it. And I used to have like a metal one, but I switched to this fiber handle because I can hit the body of the car and like hit things and it doesn't scratch it. And so, man, this is made by a company called Tang Tools, Teng. Both actually really, really high quality tools. But if you're bothered about buying American or buying EU, I don't think either of these companies are made or produced there. But
Tang are very popular this side of the water. We get a lot of Tang tool, and by the way, we call it a ratchet. It's a ratchet. You had in your
I say ratchet too. I always get like hung up on these words because one way or another somebody's gonna bust my balls about it. I'm gonna say ratchet, and then the folks in the EU are gonna hate me, or like, and then I say wrench, and then it's great. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, like for I remember some of the very early times I did work with people from the US or in the US, and I kept asking for spanners, and they were like, "What? What?
You want a what?
I need a spanner," and they're like, "What's a spanner?" And then I would go over
that like a measuring stick?
And they go, "A wrench." To which I was like, No. No.
So are we both wrong or are we both right here? I don't really know what's happening.
No. I was right. I was definitely
okay.
Right. I mean,
I should have known.
Yes. Spanner is the correct term. I believe if you look it up in the dictionary, you will find spanner is the word. That's the one.
Yeah, well, I guess I can't read the dictionary then.
And if it's not, you're reading the wrong dictionary.
Isn't Merriam-Webster, are they based in the US or I don't actually know. Sounds like a British name. Yeah, Merriam-Webster dictionary and
there's only one, and it's the Collins dictionary. There's no other. It's a Merriam-Web.
That sounds like a made up name.
Yeah.
But I actually do want to mention one other tool before we swap over to you, because it's very similar, and
give me 1 second.
It is a torque wrench. So this is one tool that you can probably get away with initially, like not having this tool in your garage, but long term you definitely need this, especially if you start doing more specific jobs. Specific. I just realized I said it a few times.
The Pacific
wheel bearings.
Ocean.
Yeah, the Pacific Ocean. That is in between us. Now but when you're doing wheel bearings, especially when you get to like disc brakes, the those wheel bearings require really high torque. It's like 270, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to measure that correctly. Or when you're building an engine, or maybe you have to change your head gasket. All of these things require a good torque wrench, and something I would absolutely have. I have one above me here that is a manual one, and that's my breaker bar as well. And then my electric one, which the battery is dead right now, but it's very good too.
Yeah.
And I cannot recommend those enough. And one other thing I want to mention before we swap over to your tools, because I'm actually really curious to see what tools you've recommended. All the links to these are in our description. So if you want to check those out, they are Amazon links and they're affiliate links, and they help pay for the platform that we're on right now. So it would help us out a lot.
Yeah.
All right, off to you. I'm curious what your tool is.
Alrighty, yeah, I've got a whole different selection, but I suppose I'm going to start with diagnostics, I think. Okay.
Ooh,
and
okay.
This is a tool that is definitely not in the link. I can just promise you that now. But I'm pretty sure you can still get these, right? And I'm going to try and get you the best possible view of this tool. Okay. And if I give it a bit of this, okay.
It looks like a set of play scissors for a kid that like to keep them from cutting their finger off.
Okay, so I'm gonna just leave that, right? And I want comments with guesses on what is this tool. So I'm gonna give it one more go. So those that are watching, comments, tell me what is this tool for? Okay, and we'll come back to it in a while. All right, so keep you guys all awake. Right. So some of the tools, yeah, that we talked about. Yes, look at that. Alrighty, so I'll show it again in a few minutes. Okay, so some of the tools, yeah, like, do you know what it is? This is one, and of course because I'm on the sort of more special side of things, right? Another gripper pliers, circular pliers, like, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
The minute you get anywhere into your engine or gearbox of your Mini, you're going to end up needing these. And the difference between a good set of these and a cheap set of these is hours on your hands and knees, pretty much.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's hours and hours of searching the floor for that goddamn Jesus clip. Where has it gone? Where is it going to be? So if you're buying these, you really don't need loads of different ones. So this one here is a compressive one. So it's to take a clip that is going to expand into its place and it compresses it. And then this one here is an expanding one. So it takes a clip that sits around a shaft or a ring and expands it to get it on or off. And believe it or believe it not, these are the only two I own and the only two I use. And I've thrown out every single other one that I own, and these are it. These are the two I own. I have one probably smaller version of this one here, but I never use it because this one does all the big clips in the gearbox and this one does all the little clips that you need to do. So spending a bit of time, and actually a mutual friend of ours, a guy called Paul Jeffries, spotted this in one of my gearbox rebuild videos and was like, I need to know where that came from because it is really incredibly useful because it's for getting, you know, the big circlips at the front bearing of the gearbox. And I have that since I was an apprentice. So anywhere that works plant or machinery or equipment. But I did find it on Amazon. So I'll put a link in the description when we put this video to air. Or it's sitting up there for this. Cole's going to hurriedly go off and try and find an affiliate link for this Pliers.
I have. You're totally right about those. I have a set of circlip tools. Let me see here. It's garbage though. I bought it and I was thinking, you know what, this is going to be great. It has replaceable tips. It has all this stuff. And here it is.
I think I have one of those too. Oh, dude, man,
I was so excited about this because it's like, oh yeah, it does external and internal ones, but it broke. The internal mechanism totally broke, and I don't even know why these are still in my toolbox. They don't even work. Ugh.
I have one that like expands. You twist the thing. It was made by Sykes-Picot, like a really good brand, and like it has a screw and it like expands and contracts. And I completely fell for the sales blurb. the tool van was around, and the guy was like, "This is gonna fix all your circlip problems. You're never gonna have a circlip problem again." And oh my dear Lord God, no. So, by the way, the brands are the brands that I use in all pliers is a brand called Nipex or Nipex. I'm not sure whether they're popular in the States or not, but Nipex.
I haven't heard the
brand.
name, but
I think it's German, and they are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The other very good brand in pliers, and before I had Nipex, I used them. Was they do all the stuff for the car for Mercedes and Volkswagen? What is their name? Hazard tools.
I don't think we have either of those here.
And they are phenomenal. Oh really? Oh, you gotta get Hazard. I think
maybe they're like rebranded or something. The US likes to do that. They're like, this is that. What was the name of the circlip tool? Nipex
or
Nipex. Yeah. Okay, so it's like Nipex
because it's German.
Okay. And see that's what we do. We take it, it'd be like Nipex, and then we take it over here and it'd be like Nip It Up Tool, or some dumb name.
Simple the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Snappy clippy.
Yeah. Snap-o-matic.
Oh yeah. But don't forget to put turbo or
GT.
Supercharged. Yeah, GT. Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this is
okay,
good.
I'm going to read a comment or two. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so Sean Kearney says, "Ouch! I would never use my torque wrench as a breaker bar." And I'd have used in a pinch a breaker bar on these wheel bearings, but I would strongly recommend you get a torque wrench so that you can torque up to the right spec, just so you know that it's right, because torquing up those wheel bearings with a breaker bar can be damaging for you and the bearings.
Yeah.
I say from experience. I was torquing one down one time, and my torque wrench, I don't remember why I couldn't use that. I was probably just being stupid, and I was pushing on my breaker bar, and the socket slipped off of the wheel bearing, and where I have like full weight of myself pushing on this thing. I was just being so dumb that day. And whole side of my face slams into the fender of the Mini, and I left like a face imprint on the Mini. Yeah, I learned my lesson that day. I almost knocked myself out.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's epic. I don't have it to hand now at the minute, but I have another tool that I made years ago for doing wheel bearings on Minis. I'll see if I can dig it out before the end of the episode. And yeah, you guys might find it interesting. I seen one down here, David Yendel, pipe bender. Oh, maybe copper brake pipes. Yeah. Yeah.
We got another pulling spark plug leads, castrating bowls.
I've read a few of those. Yeah. What did we got there? Something you'd find in a BDSM dungeon? Maybe. I mean, is working on a Mini in your garage not effectively being in a BDS dungeon of some kind?
Sometimes, especially for your knuckles, that's for sure.
Feels like it, yeah. I feel like you could make excuses to the other half easier. You see these ads like where people are doing something they shouldn't be, and they say I'm doing drugs or whatever it is. I feel like
because that's a better explanation.
Yeah, when you had that bruise all along your face from when you hit the fender, you just told your other half.
Did you get in a fight?
No, I'm into BDSM. It's a thing. Look, we need to talk about it, but are you sure? I thought you were just out working on the Mini. No, that's what I was tell you. No. I'm just gonna go out and check. Don't take the cover off.
No, don't take it off. Yeah, don't mind the print either on the fender.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yes. Okay, so what else have we got here? First Mini tool I ever had was a square profile drum brake adjuster spanner. Wait till I see if I've got my two. That was from Clive. Yeah, that is I have a whole different group of these actually. He says, I now can't find any of them. I know. Okay. We're all right. We're good. We're still good.
Just hearing noises and clinking and clanging in the background.
Well, do you want to see? I'm over at my toolbox.
Yep.
Oh, that's just the internet just fell down. That's okay. Yeah, I've been over clanking at my toolbox. You were laughing at the internet.
In nervous laughter.
The minute when you got the
Ethernet cable cursing while I'm plugging it in.
This whole yeah. Cole made me promise to have an Ethernet cable for this. We have a version of it. It still seems to be working. I'm still online, right? You should be there for a couple of minutes.
What?
just to ruin my day. You motherfuckers. Okay, so
yeah, so they're different sizes on each end.
Yeah, so that is yeah. Oh.
Looks like Paul might have jinxed it a little bit. We did have a little bit of technical difficulty there, but
okay, I ruined it.
God, Paul.
Is it back?
It's back. We can hear you. It's frozen without you there, unless you're not actually there.
No, I was off fixing the internet.
Oh, okay. It's a spooky back. October special where you're a ghost.
There you go. Yeah, I was just in the back room fixing the internet. It's fine. I fixed the internet. Mark Zuckerberg took a whole day to do it. I just did it there in 2 seconds. But, you know. Here's a really interesting one.
Whoa.
So, and it's got like swivelly ends on it.
That's crazy. I've never seen one like that. I've seen the ones where it's like fixed that you showed before, but that's new. That's new to me.
Yeah, so it's box-ended. And it's made by Brit Tool. Look, it's an old original Brit Tool. Wait, let's see if I can get focus. Focus, you mother. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Brit Tool. Yeah. And it's actually an OE mini spanner. We looked in the Brit Tool catalogue. I'm very lucky that my local bearing supplier also was the major importer-exporter for Brit Tools in Ireland. And we looked that part number up in like one of those dusty old books from 100 years ago. And yeah, it's listed as brake adjustment spanner for Austin Mini. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, part number is 216. So, yeah. So yeah, square.
Everybody out to Google and looking for your brake wrenches now.
Yeah.
Brake spanner.
Yeah, Brit Tool. Yeah, this one is a super slim. It's an old Williams super slim. It's a pretty cool brand of spanner as well that doesn't exist.
That's really cool.
How
do you? I'm assuming you get most of these at the auto jumbles. People are like, I don't need this stupid little thing anymore.
Yeah, or I spend months. I'm always on eBay. I buy so much of this stuff on eBay. It's ridiculous. I have a problem. But yeah. All of these old spanners I've taken. But in fairness, a viewer sent this one in to me. An Irish viewer. Just posted them to me one day. I was like, oh, I love this person.
That's really cool.
But yeah. So if anyone wants to send me their spanners, by all means. Yeah. Send them
except
right
all
here.
spanners, wrenches.
You
can call it whatever you want.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm dying to know what this tool is.
Oh, all right. Well, we put you out of your misery. Okay. We'll put you all out of your misery. So, who out there said that it was for pulling off plug leads? I think there was a couple of people out there said for pulling off plug leads. I've seen that come up a few times.
Yeah. So wait, but aren't they normally just clip on? Like, how do you not?
So, if you look, it's made out of fiber. Oh, so he says if you look, and then doesn't put it in front of the camera at all. So it's made out of fiber. It's insulated fiber. So if you've got a
Weird.
nasty plug lead or a broken down plug lead, you can get in there with this baby, pull the plug lead off, and you won't get shocked. It's an
That's really
insulated
cool.
plug lead removal pliers. Yeah. And it actually came from ye olde United States.
Really?
Yar. So it came with a piece of equipment that I no longer own anymore called a Bear tuning machine. I think it was called a Bear 500 or something like that. Bear was a Fortune 500 company back in the day, and they made like automotive engine tuning and diagnostic equipment. And when you bought this machine, it came with loads of little handy dandy stuff. And this was one of the things it came with. And I've kept it for, oh yeah, I use it like all the time, because how many times have you come to a plug lead to pull it off to check whether, you know, it's running on that cylinder or not, and next thing, twack, you know,
Oh, dude.
10,500 volts up through you.
Yeah, it's intense too. It's like it'll wake you up.
Oh yeah, like totally. I just I seen a comment there, which I was distracted with. Did it come with an old Krypton tuner? Very close. Yeah, Bear was the tuning piece of equipment it came with, but Bear was the American version of Krypton tuning. And yeah, it was. Yeah, they don't exist anymore. The company, it's long since gone. But yeah, they were pretty cool. They made some really amazing stuff. They made one of the very first, talking of tools and equipment, kind of computer wheel alignment system that had this amazingly brilliant function. I remember the first time I used it, and I just thought this was like night and day. It had a function called jack and hold. So I don't know if you've ever gone through suspension setup, and when you jack up your wheels, everything changes. So all the
Yeah, they'll
angles
like
change.
kind of round,
Yep.
sort of.
And of course, you've got to jack it up to make those adjustments. So you're like, oh, what the bloody hell? This computer would take all its measurements with the car on the ground, and then when you jacked it up, it would then take all its measurements, calculate the difference between the two, and then give you a true reading as you made your adjustment of what it would be when the wheels went back on the ground.
Wow. And it was accurate.
Amazing. Oh, like half a degree. It was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was like
Wow.
an old Commodore 64 type computer as well, you know, all lines of code or whatever, like, you know.
That's really, really cool.
Oh man, it was amazing. I loved it so much. Somebody is mentioning my Super Slim. I see a comment. Mine is an old Williams Super Slim AJ45. I think this is an AJ45 as well. Yes, it is.
Wow.
AJ45. There you go. Yeah. 1998. Ah, very cool. Right. I wonder if that's the year mine was. Yeah, it probably could be, in fairness. Yeah.
On the other hand, it's
Put your other hand in your pocket, no shock off the plug lead then. I feel like that could end terribly.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not going to try that one out.
Yeah, I think I'll avoid that one.
I'm going to keep using this.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Well,
come on. Have you got another spanner for us or another tool for us, Mr.
I
Gentry?
do indeed. And actually, unfortunately, I thought I still had this tool. I am in the middle of getting a replacement for it. But it is a grease gun.
Oh, yes.
One of the most valuable things you can have on a Mini, because a Mini has a lot of grease points. Depending on the year, you have actually quite a few. And like most modern cars now, you're not greasing joints. You're not walking around the car with your grease gun, making sure everything's lubricated. But the rear radius arms, the front top arms, those types of things actually need regular greasing and regular maintenance, because they lose it over time, no matter how well they are sealed, which is not very well. So that helps keep your suspension working up and operating correctly. And I do have a link to the grease gun that I'm going to be replacing it with. I'm going to try out one of those, forgotten the name now. It's like a Gorilla Grip one where it has a clamp and you put it on, and you let go, and it grabs onto the grease nipple.
As opposed to the horrible one that I know I've like 4 of over here in the corner somewhere that
Yeah,
you
where it's
push
less
on,
like click on. Oh,
and then
yes.
inevitably leaks grease everywhere, and then you push it on a bit more, and then magically it sometimes works, and other times,
Just, yeah, somehow it's just suddenly working. Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. I'm very interested to know how that works for you because, yeah, what I have here, and I can't get it unfortunately, but I'll show it on a video soon enough. Is like it's a huge bucket of grease, and it has an air guide that sits
Oh,
down inside it. But the other end of it is exactly the same as the pumpy uppy grease gun. You connect the
yeah.
airline on, and it pumps grease. That's the only difference.
I
It's
I do think that you can get just the tip of the one that I got. So the new one I'm getting is a full
ah.
grease gun with the lever and everything. And oh, one thing to keep in mind is it is very worthwhile to get one that has a bendy hose.
Yeah,
The hard
completely
line
agree.
does seem like it's going to be easier, but it is actually harder because of the space requirements in your car.
Especially front
So
suspension.
yes, especially
They
front
are,
suspension.
yeah, they're in a horrible place. Yeah, I completely agree. That's a great, that's actually a great point. Anybody who doesn't, I think you can also get those flexible hoses, can't you, for your grease gun? So if you already do have a grease gun, so Cole is going to have so many links here. It's going to be
Yeah,
fantastic. He'll have
just
links
links
for
for days.
flexible hoses. You clip on the connection.
Lock and lube. That's what it's called.
It's lock and lube. Those sound is
See,
phenomenally American.
it
Very
is
good. Yes, yeah.
incredibly American. This is what I'm talking about.
If the British designed that, it would be called the 3672BE grease attachment for the 41P XLME 7
Dash.
grease gun dash 14 modification 2. The Americans lock and lube.
And it's shaped like a pistol.
It looks like a gun. Oh yes. Oh, no.
That would bring it over the
Oh,
top. Unfortunately, it does not look like a gun, even though it sounds like it should. Oh
I'm so
man.
disappointed. Yeah.
So what's
I
your
see.
next tool?
Okay. All right. So will we go then to maybe more custom made? Oh no, I'm going to show this one actually first. Wait now. Okay, and then we'll go custom made stuff. Okay. So this guy is, I think, a really worthwhile tool, and I've had it for so long. I love it. I'll
What
do
is
like
this?
a full. This is also from the dungeon.
Uh-huh. Looks like
Gonna
it's
do
from an
full.
episode of Doctor Who.
It does, doesn't it? So what this is for, it's called a high rate discharge tester. And if I zooms in here, you will see, oh, the camera work is amazing. Look at this.
Nice.
Okay.
Analog gauge.
An analog gauge. And what it is it adjusts in and out like this, okay? And it goes across the contacts of a battery. And inside here, if you can see, are huge big metal resistive coils. And it puts the same load as a starter motor would across the battery. And it can
Wow.
tell you whether that battery is good or bad. So if the needle stays in the middle in the red, it means the battery hasn't got enough gig to crank your engine over. And if the needle swings over into the green, well, it's able to crank your engine over. Or it should have enough current capacity in the battery to crank your engine over. And
Interesting.
I use this thing like on a weekly basis because somebody will be like, "Oh, I've got a starting problem. I think my battery is duff," and yeah, I get on there with the high rate discharge tester, give it a gig, and if it's discharged, it'll tell you that it's just a discharged battery. But if it has a bad cell, like there's a dead cell, this analog gauge will swing over to bad cell basically. In other words,
That's really
it's
incredible.
producing electricity, but it'll never start an engine. It's such a cool tool. It's made by a company called Durite. I'll put it up there if people want to see the part number.
Oh, and it works for 6 and 12 volts.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's
there you go.
super, super cool. I have
So-
starter woes right now.
I wasn't going to say, but, yeah. Will I post it over with the starter motor?
Yeah, please just send it over with the starter. That would be great. It'll get here in a week or two.
Oh God, no! It will get here from Ireland in like 2 days.
That's
It'll
true.
just
It will
take-
arrive from
it'll
Ireland
just-
in 2 days.
It'll just take a long time to come from another part of the world, which shall remain nameless.
Yes. Yeah. There seems to be
Uh,
some shipping delays between this other part of the world and Ireland right now.
I don't know. I don't know why that would be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh well.
A politique here on this channel. We let there be none. Let there be none. Okay,
Oh, man.
so yeah. Let me look at
Ooh, Scott from New Zealand. We've got another person from New Zealand. Man, y'all are just up really early today.
Can I just say thank you so much? They are totally tuned into
Yes.
you, by the way. Because the New Zealanders just love you to bits. But
Well,
Thank
they
you.
did just have the New Zealand mini nationals that actually happened this weekend. Day before yesterday, their time.
Is
I
there
always get missed.
is there going to be some videos and pictures and to come?
I do believe that the mini nationals group or the New Zealand mini group is posted some stuff on their Facebook page. I don't know
cool.
that they have a YouTube page, but they have the award ceremony there and lots of really cool pictures from the event, which I
I'm
did
gonna
end
go
up
check that out
sponsoring.
later. Yeah, I'll go check that out later. That sounds good.
It was
Okay.
very cool.
Oh, Adam Campion's here. Hello, Adam. Good to see you.
hi,
I
Adam.
see he just about electric grease guns. Oh, this is something I'm glad you brought it up. I was just going to say, have you got into this world? Everybody who seems to be a mechanic or working on cars or whatever seems to be embracing this battery tool thing. Like, is it me or has Milwaukee somehow
Oh man.
I don't know, what have they done?
Well, there's something in the water for sure because I suddenly I just needed Milwaukee tools, but I have this. This is actually one. It's an honorable mention in the way of Spanners. I'm not going to turn it on because it's obnoxiously loud now, especially with me holding right up to the mic. Now, listen, get really close to your speakers.
yeah. Have you got your AirPods in?
But this thing is absolutely incredible. It does enough torque to where you can get things on and off very easy. It's got a what's the word for when it's it's pseudo impact. It's not really an impact wrench, but it is at the same time. Amazing. I've had this for a few years. As you can see, it's very dirty. And then I recently picked up, just wait for it. I love this thing.
Ooh.
This. Stubby Milwaukee.
Wow. Okay.
And
that
so,
uses the same little battery that your other one uses, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this thing is a monster. I have taken off in no time, basically welded on pinion nuts in gearboxes with this. I have one that's triple the size of this. It's a plug-in that's above me in one of my storage bits and doesn't take it off. This one, right off.
Yeah. Wow.
It's mind-blowing.
Wow. Yeah, I was starting to go down the road of whether I might get rid of my compressor. And yeah, this started to trig me into it because a friend of mine in another workshop very close to here did away with his compressor. And I was like, what do I use my compressor for? Well, other than blowing stuff out, which I do not need a 300-liter compressor to blow stuff out with. I could get away with a little small compressor that charges up in a couple of minutes and would blow out all the things I need if battery was gonna solve my problem. So
I honestly think they are. There's an investment.
Get rid of airlines. I would love to get rid of airlines. I hate them. They're all over my workshop.
I have one airline now that I put in. I don't have a compressor yet, but I've been back and forth about do I get a full-size compressor? But for the same reason, I'm like, well, my angle grinder is electric. That's going to be battery soon. All of my impact stuff is electric and is perfect. And so, I'll fill up tires. I'll blow stuff out. And at maybe some point, I will use it to spray paint a little bit, but not a lot. I'm not painting a car.
Yeah, you or I are not going to be painting cars. You
don't want to see the stuff that I would paint.
Oh, I'm no better. Whoa, no. I will. This is a conversation for another day. But I went down the road of convincing myself that I could spray a car. And yeah, thankfully we started off on a very small panel to just see what our abilities were, and they were limited.
Yeah. Yes.
Very limited.
Like
Yeah.
even some of my like outdoor equipment is electric powered. My leaf blower, I don't know
Okay,
what you guys call them there, but my leaf blower uses a larger battery, but it'll go for 2.5, 3 hours full bore, easy,
What?
and then it dies. But it's, I mean, you're not spending like that's about the amount of time you're blowing leaves, you know.
Yeah.
Bosch
3
is
hours
a
of
good
leaf
company.
blowing. Yeah. Yeah. DeWilt there as well. Yeah, I do see those a bit. All right.
Yeah, that one over there is my DeWalt one.
Yeah, they're pretty good stuff as well. But yeah, I use a company. Oh, look at you! Yeah, I use a company called Ryobi, which is
Yes,
TTI
that's the Mighty Car
Industries.
Mods people.
Yeah, it's TTI Industries out of Japan. But believe it or believe it not, I'm pretty sure they own Milwaukee. So go do your Googling and researching. But I'm pretty sure Ryobi is not own TTI Industries, who make Ryobi, own Milwaukee. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So all those tools, and there's a couple more as well, which are all made by that organization, TTI Industries, or something. I'm pretty sure it is TTI Industries. I got to check now and see. Yeah, Tektronic Industries, and it says they come out of Western Germany. I'm sure the shipping crate goes to Western Germany.
Well, maybe that's where they're engineered.
Places, but maybe, yeah.
Or maybe the company that bought all of these engineering companies are like, it was a German company.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I don't know. Like, look, the reason I did it was very simple, because a really close friend of mine said, look, they're cheap as chips, and the batteries all fit all the same thing, and like at the price point they're at, if they burn out and you've got a year's service out of them, they've paid for themselves.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, all of it that I have, I must have, like, I have stuff there for 3 or 4 years, and I have worked it hard.
Yeah, some of the stuff in here has been brutalized. The stuff that I put these poor tools through. You know, when people are like, do I need the nicer, stronger tool, or do I get the cheaper one?
Yeah.
I'll usually get the cheaper one and then expect it to do the same stuff.
Oh, that's me. That's me. Especially with battery. I don't know what it is, because I haven't gotten into the battery world yet. So, I mean, I have probably 25 different pieces of battery operated tools. So when I say
I can see stuff plugged in on the walls.
It's everywhere. Like, it's all over the place. I've got them everywhere. I literally have big plastic containers full of them over there. But I don't classify that as being in the battery world yet, because they're just toys. They're just toys as far as I'm concerned, that I use literally every day. But anyway.
But somehow there's still the backup tool to the air compressor that's not used.
The air compressor that's sitting there, and I went the other day because I needed to blow out an engine block, and it like farted and coughed and started to try and build air up, and it was like, oh my god, I haven't been on, but anyway.
Yes. I think this conversation has sold me. I think that I will end up with a small wall mount air compressor, maybe one that has like 2 small tanks that I can get up out of the way. It can it'll fill up my tires and do the basic
blow
stuff
out, and as you say, a little bit of spray painting or something. But yeah, do you know what it is? I think if you can get, I don't know if this exists, but if there's like small scroll compressors or something like that that's almost on demand there, that would be brilliant.
Like an inline water heater.
Yeah, kind of, exactly.
But for air.
On demand air. I would love on demand air. I think that would be fantastic.
That would be cool.
But yeah, because it's just something that air was so compact 20 years ago. You could get the same juice out of an air tool that you can now out of a battery tool. But now I don't know. It seems like
they were so simple too to manufacture. I mean, inside the tools, like the actuators, the things that are actually operating the tools were all basically the same thing, just varying different sizes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Tide shift.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was an interesting. I hadn't thought about that conversation, but yeah, yeah, it's nice to see as well people's comments in there of the different stuff. Some DeWalt, some, uh,
Hmm.
yeah, some Bosch. Bosch is phenomenal. Yeah. Oh,
Bosch is a
Bosch is made
great
in
company.
Thailand. Yeah, maybe.
Huh.
I suppose everybody
See,
kind of has gone Eastern European now. I suppose, or Eastern
and
Asian. Yeah.
and you know what? That's actually a really good thing to keep in mind. I see a lot, especially in the automotive world, the like digs on the quality of tools or parts from different parts of the world, and in reality, like as the world becomes more globalized, like these tools that were, my socket wrench and my spanners and all of these things were not manufactured here.
No.
It You can get such good quality stuff everywhere now. There's obviously very bad quality stuff that you can get from places, specifically when it comes to like engine internals and things of that nature. But mass produced items seem to be it's like this ebb and flow. Dang, I lost my back cushion. Hang on.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I used to be of this buy once, cry once kind of thing, and I did that for a long, long time. Um, but now, I don't know. I've veered away from it a bit, to be honest with you, because the Snap-on guy just went too hard once or twice, and just
Yeah.
sold me this golden chalice that turned out to be a plastic or a paper cup, really, to be honest with you, and
Yes.
it just didn't do what it was supposed to do. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? If they sell it as a reasonably good tool and it performs like a reasonably good tool, then I'm more than happy with that. Like you know,
Yeah.
I think honest is far more important. But this brings us nicely into a segue of all the tools that I make myself all the time. Special tools
I
like,
know what that
you
one
know,
is.
you know what that one is. We've made a video about this before.
Hmm.
And, you know, at the end of the day, guys, that's a piece of bright mild steel that I found in the workshop and hacked out a square and put some edges on it so that it can drive out pot joints. And it's been in my toolbox now for, probably 10 years and gets used probably on a weekly basis. Maybe that's a bit unfair. Maybe it's a couple of times a month, but it definitely gets used, 100 times every year. And it's perfect. It does
It
exactly
is.
what it needs to do, and it never breaks. It never misses a beat. So tools are purpose. I
I
think that's
am
something that's very
disappointed though,
important.
seeing that tool and not seeing in Sharpie like pot jointy removaler, or something written on it. I'm very
Yeah,
disappointed,
yeah.
Paul.
I haven't. I'm gonna make one for the American market, and I'll call it. You can give me the term.
Oh, let's hear. Uh,
Pot joint smash out or something. I don't know.
we got to work lock and load into it somehow. Lock and
Yeah,
shaft.
yeah.
Mm.
Lock and shaft. I don't know. I think we might get in trouble for
Uh,
that one. Demonetized.
yep, just like that.
Yeah, an algorithm somewhere just went. Doot, 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 boop,
Yeah,
boop, boop,
did you hear that? Yeah, yeah. We need to get rid of these guys.
Yeah, lock and shaft. Okay, but yeah, like only the other day we were doing, videos about, cylinder head overhaul and bashing out
Hmm.
valve guides, and I put this up and I got a good few comments from people being like, "What a distributor shaft!" But like at the end of the day,
Milled
a
down.
a tool has to perform a function, and for me, you know, I, having the right tool to do a job
It
uh,
is.
is almost as important as having a tool that can make a tool and the ability
Yes.
to do that. That's very important.
I am very jealous of your lathe. I
Oh,
need one at some point, but there's not enough room in my garage.
yeah,
I need to
you're
get my garage a little bit more organized before I do something like that. You're gonna like this one. I'm gonna see if you can guess what it is. Where's my camera?
okay. Alrighty. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's
It's a
the
little off
bullet.
center.
It's the bullet from an oil pressure regulator, the oil pressure regulator,
Yep.
But what do you use it for?
So I'm just gonna tell you. So it's
Go on,
a
then.
JB Weld. This is before I had a welder.
Okay.
Might revisit it at some point. But anyway, I use this to lap the inside of the block when someone said that, like, when I had oil pressure issues due to some debris getting caught in this bullet connector,
Yeah.
it left some scoring in there. And so as a result, I'm like, you know what? I can use the old one on a stick. And then it's a similar concept to lapping your valves and then just lapping material right there. And then just really, really cleaning it out. This is with the block completely disassembled, not in situ.
Wow. I really like that. That's fantastic. Wow. I mean, I have never done that, and I know
Hopefully
the
you never
reason
have
why,
to.
because I have a load of the spools that that go behind that. There's a spool that what you're lapping is a spool that sits behind it, and I have those in stock. But that is such a clever thing. Oh, well, don't worry, I made them. I made like 50 of them like 10 years ago. I bought a chunk of iron bar and made, like, because I tried to order them off of Mini Spares, and they're like, oh no, it will be 11 years before we get enough orders for those. And I don't know why they're American, but
American?
Oh, I don't know. They're definitely not English. Anyway,
yeah, it was certainly an accent.
Oh God. Yeah. The truth is, that's a really cool tool. I really like that. That is.
I was very proud of that one.
That is thinking on your feet. I love it. Yeah. There's a good comment there. Kevin's "This is a tool." I do love that. What is Kevin's channels now? Oh, the Gentleman Motor Racing Club. Is that right?
Yep.
Did I get it right?
And in fact, he was here a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if he's still here, but if he is, send us a hello, Kev.
Hello, Kevin. And if anybody is wondering what we're talking about, on Kevin's YouTube channel, he from time to time has been known to reference "This is a tool" in his channel. So yeah, go check out some of his videos there and see see what you get from that. They're always quite funny. Good. Yeah. Kevin takes making specific tools like I do to a whole new world.
I like his whole concept of mowogging.
Oh yeah.
Like, is this mowogging?
It's very good.
He is very clever. He is much more clever than me. That's why I love his channel so much.
Yeah. A very, very underrated YouTuber, I must admit. I do love Kevin's channel, and anytime a video pops up, I do greatly enjoy watching them. So there you are, Kevin. Shout out for you. Checks in the post, yeah?
Yeah.
That's okay. Cool. Yeah, not away. Yeah. Here's one for you. Can you figure out what this is?
I love this tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what this is. Maybe.
Go on, then.
No.
Go on.
No. Okay. I'm actually torn. So you've hammered the end there.
Yeah.
And what's the other end look like?
That end has gotten hammered as well.
Okay. Wheel bearings.
Oh, close. It is bearings. It's not wheel bearings.
Okay.
Let's see if I have some. 1 second.
Trying to think of another bearing that you would hammer out in that way. It's not wheel bearings.
No, it's not wheel bearings.
The only other things I can think of that are about that big are in the gearbox, but they're not.
Nope.
No, no, because I'm just thinking the double roller bearings, but they're not. They don't have a race.
No.
Man, I don't know. I'm like totally blanking.
Yeah. I'm gonna put one on it now, and then all will become clear.
Cam bearings. That is why I didn't know, because I've never done a set of cam bearings myself.
Yeah,
I've always let the machine shop do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I asked our machine shop to do it once, and they looked at me and went, "Sorry, now." You say what?
That's come back to bite me too, not doing it myself. They put the alignment of that one that's closest to the camshaft in incorrectly, and so the feed was not right, and
No. Yeah, and again, the reason why I do them all myself, but so this tool is just for removing them, obviously, right? Yeah, I suppose you could probably put them in with it as well if you were, really confident. But the dimensions here obviously are also the dimensions to follow through, so that it follows through nice and square, so you can.
Yeah, that way it's not like bouncing around in there, and it doesn't also get stuck, and then you have to hammer it out with another one that's slightly smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So having some, spare chunks of aluminium and a lathe, it's wonderful. So anybody who's out there thinking they might want to get a lathe, or they think that a lathe would be it, you will never regret it. I can promise you. As long as you live. The very first time I bought mine, I remember agonizing over buying a lathe, and I had saved up the money, and I had probably just about enough space to fit it in, and I agonized over it, and eventually I did that thing that I think a lot of men do when it comes to buying tools, and it was like one Friday morning, and they were like, and I bought it, or I made the phone call. Yeah, exactly. And I still have that lathe, and I love it. I love it to bits, and it has done 100 million miles, and
Question then for you about your lathe: will you be lathing the starter I send you? Is that how you're going to machine it down?
Yes, definitely. I think the front housing will come off. I think, or else we might have to make a little jig for it. I don't know. We just need to see what way that comes apart. So I think
I think so
you
too.
all out. We might make a video about doing it.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Yeah. I think we might do that.
I will watch it intently.
Yeah. Is that my starter? Is he hitting that with a copper hammer?
Yes.
I'll do an outtakes just for you, Carl.
Thank you. I will say, so for those of you who are not sure about what I'm talking about, it's because I haven't told anyone about this yet. So you wouldn't know. I'm having some starter issues related to the amalgamation of engine parts I have, and I will go into immense detail in this in my first start video, but Paul is being wonderful, and I am sending him a high torque starter made by Powerlight, and it's one of the gear reduction starters, and in order to make it work with my stupid combination of parts, he is going to be doing some machining for me to make it fit. Custom stuff. And lots to come from there, but thank you so much for that, Paul.
We will do, I think, between us we'll try and do a couple of videos, and I might send you some stuff, and you could send me some stuff, and we'll try and explain it to everybody, because you know what, I actually think I'd really like to actually do a bit, and I think this is because you're not the only person that's going to come across this, and it's to do with, and to be honest with you, this is something that you and I really just figured out on the back of a cigarette packet by just looking at all the different options. So we're going to share that with you guys somehow over the next couple of weeks or months, or however long it takes to get this bloody starter motor here. But we'll share it with you guys, because it's actually a really interesting topic, and Cole's particular predicament is the first time I've seen it the way it is, and I'm not being particularly edgy here, and it sounds like I'm not explaining this because I'm going to reveal the meat and juice, but actually you're going to need
there's a lot of minutia around it.
Videos, diagrams on whiteboards, and then me and him might understand it just enough to be able to explain it to you.
Just enough.
Just about enough. But
and it's crazy. It's one of those issues. It's so funny. We just said the same thing. It is crazy that it's one of those issues that I think a lot of people might have run into, but it's not common, and it's not common enough to have a solidified solution to it. Somehow in the 50 years or 61, 62 years that the Mini's been around, I don't really know, long time. There's been no, and I guess it's just, I was lucky enough to run into this issue because I'm in the US and I have an engine from an Austin America and a gearbox from a Mini and a transfer house from one of those two, and then a crankshaft and then this and that, and it's a lot. But
it is amazing. But it's funny after we'll have this conversation. What we might do is we might do a debrief on it at some stage, because I don't want to go off on a tangent here. But yeah, this is a mini thing, and this is why being able to make custom tools is a good idea as well, because
yes.
when you come across minis, you do need to be able to do work on these to make things, because as the years are going to go on, and as we're going to spend, in the next 20 years, things like this just aren't going to be made anymore. Like, these are not going to be, nobody's going to produce these, because who's going to do a run of 200 or 300 spanners? Like, nobody's going to do that. Like,
Or if they do, it'll be a fortune.
Yeah, one of these will be 150 quid or something crazy, So, being able to make stuff and being able to get in it. And I remember a friend of mine had an Austin 7, and all he ever seemed to do was spend his weekends in the garage making things for it. And I remember being kind of jealous, to be honest, because, for the Mini, it made no sense to do that, because you could just buy every single thing off the shelf. So you just didn't make parts for them. But now it's going to become a thing, I think. I think tools and custom parts is going to be a thing as time goes on, and it's going to be more common and popular. How are we doing in the comments? I see some interesting stuff.
Yeah, we've got some coming in, and actually, you know what might be a really good time to transition into our Q&A segment.
I think that's a great idea.
This little banner here, but I will also tell you guys our Q&A segment. We do this at the end of every episode of Let's Talk Shit, and this is where we will be taking your questions and answering them. All super chat requests are guaranteed answers, which help us pay for this lovely streaming service we're using. But we will be doing our best to answer everybody. So ask away. I
see a comment just came in there from Marcus saying, "Hi lads, any thought on electric conversions?" And yes, Mark, we have had some very in-depth conversations and talk. About 3 lives ago, I think we did a whole.
I think it was our first live stream.
I think it was. We did a whole episode talking about it, and I think in the future we will be revisiting it, because I have found out from a little birdie that a customer of mine is going to get me to do an electric conversion in we'll call it relatively distant future, but it'll be happening. So
very exciting.
We might get to revisit this and see this in minutia, up right close in person.
Any notion of the power unit you're going to use? Or are you going to keep it a secret? Okay.
No secret. If I knew, I would say it immediately. No, we are currently researching and trying to figure out what the best option is. There's a couple of options that are out there, but me being me, I want to be 100% sure of what it is before I go down that road and see where it is. It's not going to be a kit.
Nothing less.
Definitely,
I would expect nothing less.
So yeah, we'll see. We're going to see where the road takes us on it. But yeah, this Mini actually is very cool. I'm not going to give any away now at the minute, because I need to talk to the person who owns the car first. But the Mini is very cool. It already has a pretty trick engine in it. So it'll be interesting to see this go forward and be electric.
So I see a question in here from Mini Performance about which type of ball joint splitter is the best one.
While you're answering that, I'm going to find my one. Yeah, you answer that one. I'm going to find my one.
So off the shelf, if you don't have the ability to make a tool, or you are looking for something quick that you need, I would not buy any other ball joint splitter except this style ball joint splitter. This is the easiest and the most effective one I've ever found. The one that you hammer on to the ball joint always tears the boots. The fork widens and is garbage, because they always make them out of aluminum. And I just cannot stress enough that go to your auto parts store if you need a ball joint splitter and get one like this, or what Paul is rummaging around in the background there.
Hang on. First of all, I was away. I need to see. Show me the one that you.
Oh yes, yes. It's this style.
Oh, I was really hoping it was that. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my good Lord. Okay. All right. So get the manual out. How does this thing work?
So this is effectively your ball joint splitters. I try and show it in profile, but on steroids.
Yes, it
So
does look that way.
yeah. So I had that ball joint splitters that you had for a long, long time, and one of its weak points is the bolt that goes between here and the top fork, basically. So
This
you're
here.
yeah. So the way that kind of slides on it. So what I have actually got here, I don't know, it's going to be hard for you guys to see. And this is all fabric cobbled out of scrap, so that's why it doesn't look pretty at all. But
I think it's beautiful.
this guy here, have you ever seen the things for holding coil springs together on the front of
Yes.
cars? They're like clamp forks. That is the part of one of those. So there'd been, legs sticking out of here that would have caught the coil spring. And this, was the square drive end that wound it. But I used it because it has this beautifully super hardened fine thread. Can you see the thread is like super fine?
That's super cool.
So and then its nut is up there. So that's on the top part, on the top leg. And then the bottom is we just cut the bottom piece out, and that is a head stud out of a Mini. I'll try and show it to you up real close. That's the head stud out of a Mini. Yeah. It's the head stud out of a Mini bent around. And that is the top of a ball joint. I don't know if you can see that. Top of a ball
You're
joint.
using a ball joint to get a ball joint out?
Yeah. So it twists in that space there, yeah. So that's what pushes on the bottom, and then that pushes on the top, and that, but it's articulated here, you see. So because it's articulated there, you can this can move up and down, so you don't have that, where the other
binding.
one, the bolt wants to push, wants to go through an arc, it can't go through. So that's what it is. So yeah, that is my Frankenstein mini ball joint splitters that I built, one day because I got absolutely brassed off that I couldn't find the right one.
I absolutely love it. I love it. It combines all the best parts about the one that you can buy off the shelf here, and builds upon it and makes it better.
Yeah, out of scrap. But I love
good.
What you said. I'm using a ball joint to get a ball joint apart. I never even thought of that, to be honest with you. And you know what it was? I guarantee you, I'm going to give you how that happened. I was probably taking a hub apart. So what was lying on the top of my bench was bits of ball joints. So I probably just picked up that ball joint nut and went, yep, this'll do, and welded it.
This'll do.
Yeah, this'll do. Yeah. And that brings me to the necessity. Necessity is the mother of all invention, isn't it? You need something. You make it happen. All right.
That's so good.
So yeah, there's my Frankenstein. I'm so glad you brought that up. I've been wanting to show that off for ages. Alrighty. So more comments.
Yes. You pick our next one.
Okay, I see one here about like somebody's putting out a load of spec. What's this? Psychotropic. Hi guys, building at 1310 with AC Dodds RS plus cam, some mild headwork, a 1.3 roller rockers, twin 1.5 inch SUs. What best needle spring combo for best setting? Get it running. Well. I'm not sure what Cole's answer to this is going to be.
I don't have an answer for this one off the top of my head, actually. I'd have to go review my needle configurator on my website. Plug. Shameless.
Well, I was also about to shamelessly plug your website and say there is a phenomenal needle comparison and selection chart on there, and that is exactly where I would start. And the other thing I would say is bang a question to Mr. Adrian Dodd, Mr. AC Dodd. He is an absolute gent. He's a nice man, and make your question nice, clear, and concise, just the same as it is here. And I'm sure he will absolutely be more than helpful to give you a good starting point, because that sounds like a really standard engine kind of configuration that I'm sure he's come across 100 million times. So that's what I would do.
And also probably worth checking out. He has made his way over to YouTube as well.
He has.
If you are looking for someone who's got some really great technical knowledge, check
Yeah.
out his channel.
Yeah, delighted to
I think it's
see.
called AC Dodd.
I think his channel's AC Dodd, yeah, and I'm delighted to see him on YouTube again and making videos. Hopefully, we'll get him on this channel maybe at some stage, and we'll have a chat with him and pick his brains. I'm not sure whether he's ready for our crazy yet or not, but we'll see.
I will say that he has reached out to me, and things are in the works. I do wonder though.
Brilliant.
I don't know what he is. What he we're a bit weird.
No, I don't know. Crazy,
just a little.
Never. Yeah, we'll have to be on our best behavior. We'll have to be on our best behavior. We'll tone it right down. We'll be good boys.
Yep. We do have just a little teaser. We do have some fun guests from the mini community upcoming.
We really do.
Folks you may know, folks you may not.
I'm very excited for one of the very near future ones because his crazy will get on well with our crazy too, I think.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think it'll go well. God love him, but yeah. Alrighty. Go on, you give us one now.
Okay. Ilias has asked a question in reference to actually one of the tools that I was recommended earlier. What type of grease do you recommend for greasing the suspension grease points, ball joints of a Mini? Is the red grease any better than the regular ball bearing grease? And you can, so those parts, your ball joints and your the pivot points on your radius arms and your top arms, those don't require the same high temperature grease that the wheel bearings do. So for a grease gun, you can pick up something like a really high quality chassis grease. Synthetic chassis grease is what I prefer. Has seemed to work out very well, and the synthetic one does seem to last a little bit longer for me. I'm curious to see what you would recommend too, Paul.
Yeah, I tend to go with fully synthetic now for those parts. As you quite rightly pointed out, they're what we call or what is known in industry as non-full rotation load joints. In that is to say that they don't go round and round. So they see very high momentary forces with absolutely. So they see really high momentary forces, but they don't see very high temperature. So the grease you want, and it's one of the reasons why synthetic greases are the best, is they have the strongest filament capacity. And the grease you want for anything that doesn't see rotation, you want very high shear filament strength. And synthetic greases far outweigh ordinary conventional mineral greases that they have much lower film strength. So yeah, I tend to go for modern high quality synthetic greases for any of the suspension components. And you can do your research on this yourself, but somebody recently, I don't know why they said this, but they basically said, it's a bronze bushing, so the cheapest grease you can possibly get will be absolutely fine. And I mean, the cheapest grease you possibly get will have the lowest possible film strength you can possibly get. So as Cole very rightly pointed out, it's not about temperature, it's about the quality and the load the grease can hold. And for stuff like that, modern greases, the chassis grease that you said is fantastic. Truck drivers use a very high film strength grease on that. We call it the fifth wheel. I'm not sure. Yeah, the pivot joint. Yeah, absolutely. So any place that sells grease for truck drivers, if you get the grease that they use on those pivot joints, that's brilliant. It works really, really well. Very high film strength and works really well. And tends to be reasonably cheap as well. It's not super expensive,
Yep, and it's cool. The you'll notice, you might wonder when is the time to grease your suspension. And one thing I do want to mention is I do have a video that's a few years old now about greasing the different points on your Mini. So if you want to search through my old videos, or search for grease, I forget what I named it, how to grease the joints on your Mini, something like that. But it's very, very straightforward. And you'll know if it starts to get kind of creaky. That's the first telltale sign, as your Mini will start to, as you are going over slight bumps, little washboard, things like that, slowly you'll hear, and it gets really freaking annoying.
a very good. My grandfather used to say, when do you know it's time to grease a machine? The minute you think about greasing a machine.
Yes. That's a great bit of
time.
advice. Yeah.
If you think about greasing something, go grease it. That's
Yes.
the time to grease it. But because generally you've forgotten about it for about 6 months. You went, I wonder, do I need to grease that?
Oh.
Yes is the
Yes.
answer. Absolutely. About 3 months ago. But
So good.
yeah, that's a very good question, though. Very good question. Yeah. All right.
What else you got for us tonight, guys and gals? If they're don't want to discriminate here, guys and gals.
Team Ballylock Classics. You'll have to make them, Paul, and add them to the shop with the engine brackets. Oh, the engine brackets are still happening. I promise they are.
Or I need a sign that says "Still happening." TM
Yeah,
trademark.
It's going
Soon.
to happen. I promise. Yeah, my channel isn't even a year old, lads. Give me a chance, all right? I make promises that I can't follow through on.
The wheel of YouTube never stops.
It grinds. You know, it's hilarious. Somebody messaged me the other day and was like, "Oh, have you just decided not to make these engine lifting brackets?" And I was like, "Oh, no, they're absolutely on the list. They're just down here somewhere on the list.
Yeah.
And all the other stuff is up there." Just so people are aware, some of the stuff that's up here is 2 years. It's been on the list for 2 years. So
Just to give you a little bit more, little bit more about this, I think you and I even discussed prior to me pulling the engine to do the supercharged turbo or supercharged build about you sending me one of the engine lifts. And you know what? I don't think I've seen it.
You will lift that engine out at some stage with one of my lifted brackets. It's just not going to be this time.
Can you make one for an electric motor so I can do that on the inevitable Mini? And
yeah,
I will be doing.
Sure. Yeah. But what I'll do is when I'm making the starter motor for that one, I'll put it in with that.
Perfect. I'm actually super jealous that you're going to be doing an electric conversion. I want to do one so bad. I'm just not in a position to do it yet. And look, I'm going to be watching yours. Like
you may well get there before I do. Hey, you know, let's see what happens. I'm not making any promises, but I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. There's one other really big build that's coming on the channel that will take precedence, and then once that one's done, then it'll be all guns blazing on the electric build. So yeah, let's see. Yeah,
super exciting.
If we could just get more time in the workshop, if I could spend more time out here, we'd get through all this stuff. But hey, I have to make a living too, right? Yeah, it's all part of it, huh? Yeah, bloody bills and paying for things.
Who thought of it? Who thought this was a good
idea? Whose idea was that? Yeah, that's it. Alrighty. Have we anything else? Any other ones that you wanted to?
A little quiet on the question front tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, just got one in here. From Mr. Ron Peters. Any idea where to find the wiring diagram for an SPI with the 24-position fuse block? It's not in the Haynes manual, and I haven't found it anywhere online. Seems like an interim design. Right. I actually may have this wiring diagram. I'm putting another link in there.
See?
I don't remember if this is the right link. I don't remember the link to my own website.
Oh. I'm going away for 1 second because that's a brilliant question. Mini Performance just said best tool for monitoring engine health over time. Give me 1 second. I am going to.
Okay, here is the link.
While you're doing Lincoln.
So Ron, I don't know if I have the one you're looking for there, but I do have a ton that I worked with a gentleman quite a few years ago on the Mini forum. He digitized all of these, like redrew them in high fidelity PDFs so that you can zoom and look at different things. And this is the collection of all of those. They're all free, so you can scroll through here. And I might have one with the power distribution block that you're talking about. or at least a portion of that wiring diagram. So hopefully that helps. We'll see. Let me know if you do. Send me an email if you find it.
Fair play. I was sending that poor guy off to the mini forum to send messages to somebody. I was like, no, that's not going to exist. Well done. Okay, so in answer to Mini Performance's question, the best tool for monitoring the health of an engine over time, and this tool here, without a shadow of a doubt, is the most useful diagnostic engine tool that anyone can own in a garage. And you might wonder, what is it? It's called a compression leak down tester. I'm going to give you a close-up view of the gauge. So try and get some light on it. So this garage currently needs to go off and get calibrated, because you can see the needle is sitting all the way up, like 3/4 of the way. It should be sitting down the bottom. So basically what this is very simple. You plug the air line in here, and
from your compressed air?
From compressed air, and this end here screws into the spark plug. So it's just a normal spark plug union. You can see it can do like a couple of different size spark plugs. So this is like your normal mini size spark plug, M21 or whatever the thread is. And basically what this gauge allows you to do is you can set 0 on the gauge. So 0 leak here, okay? So you disconnect this end here. That's the one going to the spark plug. You put your air line on and you turn this knob here until that gauge, that needle goes all the way around to the blue. And that basically means no air is coming out of here. Then you connect this guy on, you put your piston at top dead center with both your valves closed, and this forces compressed air into your engine through the spark plug. And this gauge tells you how much air is leaking out, basically, how much is escaping from the engine. Now, initially you might wonder, why is that so brilliant? Well, first of all, if you listen, you can tell where the air is escaping out of. So you can find out, is it coming out of the carburetor? Is it coming out of the rocker cover? Is it coming out of the sump? Is it coming out of the exhaust? So you go around and listen to all those different places. So almost instantaneously, you can diagnose, first of all, where is coming. Is it in the cylinder head? Is it in the pistons? Is it in the valves? Is it in your gasket? So you're saying, can you diagnose cylinder head gasket? Yes, you can. Take out your other spark plugs, and if you hear air coming out of one of the other pistons while you're pressurizing that one, well, now you know your cylinder head gasket is leaking. So you can actually tell.
Really cool.
This is this tool gets used all the time. Now the gauge does need calibration, but I'm using this tool so long I don't need the needle anymore. I just know by the sound of the air coming out of it whether it's leaking or whatever it is. But for a beginner who's trying to learn, see a compression tester. I haven't used my compression tester in 10 years since I bought that tool, because I can put that on with 2 seconds, compressed air line, and I can tell instantly where my problem is, or if I have problems at all. You know, if you get a really good high leak, you're in good state.
I have a question, a response to that then. I'm curious, wouldn't there always be an innate amount of leak down happening around the piston rings? And
Absolutely.
is there an acceptable amount of that?
Yeah, so if I give you a zoomed in look again here, you'll see it gives you percentage leak. Can you see it on the gauge there?
Oh,
so
okay.
20, 40, and it'll tell you, on there what's so low green, that's up to sort of 40% leak is a good sign. 60% leak will be questionable, and 80% leak, you've got a problem, basically. Now, typically speaking, a good, well-sealed A-series, 10 to 25% leak is all you'll really ever see on it. That's kind of the piston rings, because minis inherently actually system very well. So generally speaking, 15 to 20% on a good mini would be what I expect to see. Generally speaking, when you start seeing a head gasket going, you tend to see about 40, 50%. You see that leak coming across the cylinders. Valve seats go, you tend to start seeing in that 40% range. So it's a fantastically useful tool. So yeah, if you're trying to monitor your mini, or you're trying to, get a handle on where your engine is, how worn your engine is, or where is it at, that tool is the job. I'll do a video on it in the near future. I'll set it up and test an engine for you guys.
That's incredibly cool.
Do
That
they
is
do?
very, very cool. I actually was not familiar with this tool. I knew that I actually thought that was a compression tester initially until you dove into it deeper.
Yeah.
Today I
It's a
learned.
wonderful tool. Yeah. It's a fantastic tool. I love it to bits. I got that from my diesel mechanic days, and I've used it. It's so useful for diagnosing engine problems. So yeah, can't speak about it highly enough.
Very cool. Looks
All
like we
right.
have a synthetic chassis grease convert with Ilias now. Glad
Ah,
to
very
hear
good.
it. And
Brilliant.
he has a follow-up question. Do you guys also have any specific coolant recommendations? Is there a difference between the red and the green and the then max and min operating temperatures? You start.
Yeah, coolant wise, I have always been a very good fan of the coolant you mix yourself, which is actually antifreeze, to be honest with you. Using water with antifreeze in it. I've always been a really good fan of that. In recent years, I've started using the yellow colored one, which I believe is the one that I mightn't be very right on this because I'm not up on coolants, if I'm absolutely honest. But the yellow one seems to be the most compatible with all materials. It seems to be okay. Although
Mhm.
somebody recently told me maybe not if you had an aluminium rad. To be honest with you, for
Interesting.
me, coolant is not a huge problem here where I am in Europe because freezing, worst case scenario, we get just below freezing and we never really get much colder than that. But for you guys in the States, I presume, and for other
Hmm.
parts of the world, coolant might be a really important thing and something that you have to pay a
Absolutely.
lot of attention to.
Yeah, I would say so. Living in a place that gets very hot in the summer and gets reasonably cold in the winter, um, the I use just like a standard green coolant now. I did some videos in the past of the waterless coolant, the Evans waterless coolant,
Mm,
and I actually found that to be very, very good. People always poo-poo on it, like, oh, nothing beats the cooling power and the cooling efficiency of water, chemically speaking, and this is absolutely true.
mm,
But it worked splendidly. It did not introduce anything that could rust. That said, it was terribly inconvenient when the Mini might leak a little bit if I didn't have any more of the coolant. You can add water to it, but by adding water to it, you defeat the purpose of the waterless coolant. Um,
yeah.
and it became really inconvenient. So most of the time in the summer here, I actually run like a 80% of antifreeze and water, distilled water usually, but I have done hose water before. I know it's bad. I was in a pinch, but in the summer here, I need that extra cooling potential, and I forego the rust prevention in those scenarios. But in the winter time, I will shift it back to 50-50. I'll purge the system and then run a 50-50 mix. And then some places in the US even run a higher coolant or antifreeze, like high up in the north in Canada. But you have a litany of other issues that you increase you decrease the ability for it to cool properly. So I
I'm with you.
usually stay
Yeah.
at 50-50 or more water in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the same. I use rainwater, believe it or not, here. We
Really?
collect our rain. Yeah, we collect our rainwater. Rainwater is the Earth's natural distilled water, isn't it? So,
That's very
um,
cool.
yeah, I collect rainwater off the building, and we have it in a tank that settles so that I can
Uh,
tap rainwater off. So yeah, I just use rainwater and 50% coolant, the same as yourself. Pretty much,
do you
that's what I do. So, yeah, antifreeze.
do you guys get mosquitoes there?
Mosquitoes. There is mosquitoes. They're very, very infrequent, though. Very
Okay.
infrequent because it's
We
too
have
cold most of the time.
a challenge with collecting rainwater like that because in the big jugs, if you don't really, really well meshify them and prevent bugs from getting in, mosquitoes like standing water. That's standing water, and they actually will go in there and lay their little mosquito eggs. So you could have mosquito cooled minis too.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, no, that thankfully is not an issue we have here. No, yeah, no, I presume yes is the answer. That the 12 mosquitoes that fly around.
Man, that sounds so
in Dublin.
nice.
Yeah, no,
Just so irritating.
yeah, there is mosquitoes here, but pretty much only in high summer. They last for probably a couple of weeks, and it tends to be like, was that a mosquito? Did someone just hear a mosquito? Was that a mosquito? No, I think that was a really loud fly. Oh, we're fine. That was that tends to be what it is. Like it's a rarity, thankfully. Yeah, it's not an issue we have. But in fairness, the tank that we store our water in is actually completely sealed. It's not open to it's not open. Well, I presume they could probably get through the downpipe, maybe from the rooms.
Yeah,
because
usually we have a downpipe that falls onto a mesh screen that then filters, and so they can't get through the mesh screen. But anyway, this is like way off topic. Sorry,
we are off topic, but yeah, there you go. But yes, rainwater, the Earth's natural distilled water. But yes, yeah, that's what it is. Water wetter, yeah, that's an interesting one. Ron Peters was asking there about water wetter. Does water wetter make water wetter or better? I don't know.
That's a tongue twister.
Oh yes, there you go. I have used the brand that Miller's that make oil for minis. They sell a bottle of Magic Potion water wetter that I think I've put in a race car once or twice before, that I was probably struggling for cooling on. But generally speaking, to be honest with you, when I see coolant problems like that, it's generally indicative of another problem in the engine that needs to be sorted out, and it's very rarely your water isn't wet enough.
Yeah.
It's very rarely that's a problem, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's generally tends to be that. But look, I imagine if you were in a situation where you had a road-going car that was struggling with overheating and you just did not want to pull the whole thing apart to find, what was wrong, then yes, these bottles, they certainly seem to help a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that if you are feeling like you need water wetter, and you're not in a uber hot climate, I would probably start wondering if it's a symptom of an underlying issue, maybe dirty coolant, the water pump's not working so well, the fan's not doing what it needs to do, those types of things. It's usually a symptom. And
Yeah,
one
think so.
one more thing on the cooling front here. Sean says on cooling on the Morris Minor forum, which is an A series blog, suggests the heater should be left on to adequately cool the number 4 cylinder. I have some opinions about this.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
because I have actually deleted my. I haven't seen that video of yours. I have I'm curious to see if I align with your perspective then. I would never block the port on that cylinder head, the outlet that would go to the heater. I have removed the heater from my car before, but I always leave that channel open into the pipe for the return in the same way that it would in the heater circuit. You allow that coolant to kind of be drawn out that hole there, and then it allows a more uniform, from my perspective, more uniform flow of the fluid through your head. It's like a budget dry decking. Poor man's dry deck.
So, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. The only thing that I have come across in the past, and this is purely from a sort of fluid dynamics sort of thing, I would always want if I was feeding that water into the bottom hose where it originally goes on a Mini, I would want some form of resistance there, basically between the top of the rad or the top of the cylinder head and going back into that hose. Now, the video that I was talking about, I don't know if I actually did a video or if it was part of like a Q&A I did. It might have been part of like a HRE Uncut or something. But basically what I was explaining was I actually put that water, I completely agree. Definitely I never blocked that. I actually put that water back into the top of the rad is what I do. So
That's right. I remember you talking about this. It was in our
Yeah.
last episode, I think, actually. Together,
Possibly, yeah.
we
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. And I feed the water into the top of the rad because if you think that water, that hose at the bottom of the water pump is actually drawing in water into the engine block. So it's taking water out of the bottom of the rad and putting it into the engine block. So if you're drawing water off the top of the cylinder head and then into that hose, you're unfortunately sending it straight back into the engine, and it bypasses the rad completely. Now, the reason why that's not a problem in a Mini with a heater is because two things. One, the heater core itself adds resistance, so that whole process is slowed down. And second of all, it takes heat out, obviously, from that water, so it's reducing heat. So you're introducing effectively cooled water back into that rad. But yeah, I've had a few people have suffered problems in the past where they've done that. They've bypassed that thing and then suddenly started finding a problem with the engine running on, and it's generally running on in cylinder number 2 and 3 because it's running hotter than the other cylinders, and they get this pinking or detonation.
That's very interesting. I've had that behavior, and it was when I didn't have a heater.
Yep.
It was worse when I didn't have a heater.
Yeah,
It
it's
did
more
still happen a
noticeable.
little
Yeah,
bit.
it more than likely is happening because you have a hot spot in your cylinder head. That's normally what's causing it. So rust or calcification has built up in the cylinder head, and that is what is causing it. But it is greatly exacerbated by having the water flowing back in, because you just get this heating up of the end of the cylinder block. So it's a good idea in those situations either to put it back. Somebody actually found a brilliant solution to this, and they messaged me about it, and I'll just say it again here. The later Minis had a sandwich plate that went underneath the thermostat with like an outlet off of it. And you can still buy those, I believe. They're still being produced. That is definitely the best way to do it. Put one of those sandwich plates on and put the pipe from the top of the cylinder head around the back of the rocker cover and into the sandwich plate, because that water is all going to the rad.
Yeah,
So
that makes
that's
a
much
lot
better
of
place.
sense.
Look, Rover figured it out. It's not me. Rover, that's why they introduced that sandwich plate, in the 90s, and because they obviously did their thermodynamics and went, hold on, we shouldn't be putting that water back in there. Put the water in there, much better. And obviously that's, they figured it out. But it's just, I think it has gone unnoticed a good bit in the community, because I see a lot of people doing that deleting their heater and putting it in there in a performance orientated way. So yeah, that sandwich plate, or if you've got somebody that's good at braise a pipe into the top of the rad box and plumb it in there, anywhere there.
I think DSN also sell a thermostat that has a takeoff on it as well.
There you go.
Fairly certain.
Literally perfect. Yeah, and that stops that problem and fixes it. So yeah.
Well,
cool.
We are at the top of 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I think now is a pretty good time to start wrapping things up. So if anybody has any straggler questions that they haven't asked us yet, now is definitely the time. But while we are waiting for those last ones to roll in, I have a couple things that I wanted to say. And then I wanted to hand it off to you. So one, thank you everybody for joining. It has been wonderful today. And second, I do have a turbo giveaway going on right now. So anyone who makes any purchase, every $5 on my merch store, enters you to win a complete turbo kit. That is the turbocharger, the exhaust manifold, the downpipe, link pipe, intake plenum, a blow-off valve from Go Fast Parts down in Australia, and then a litany of other little bits and bobs like HEL performance brake lines. So if that's something you're interested in, the giveaway is running until December 31st, and get over there and enter in. And that's it for me.
I'm going to just say it is a fantastic giveaway, and to be honest with you, you know, the mini community are very lucky to have somebody put the effort that you're putting into that, Cole. So, you know, big
thank you.
props on that. No, it's fantastic. It really is. Those kinds of giveaways, you know, you see a lot of YouTube channels doing giveaways, and it's always something a bit tokenery, and that's a, you know, you sent me that list the other day, and I think that's a phenomenal giveaway, and you know, fair play to you. Like, you know, that's going to give somebody a really good starting place to get into turbocharging. So yeah, it is awesome. So yeah, get on over there, guys, and yeah, it's such an easy way. You get merch as well. Who doesn't want merch? Look,
I've got all sorts. Yeah, but he's wearing a merch. I've got merch on my walls. I don't have a merch on right now.
Jesus, Cole.
I'm the worst. Pushing my merch. I'm not even wearing any.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that a? Oh no, it's not. No. But yeah. Yeah, that looks like a H3E t-shirt, is it? Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm gonna stamp it all over your starter motor.
Yeah. No, actually, I wouldn't mind that.
But anyway, yeah. Thank you very much, guys. We were on a bit of a hot one tonight, so yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed. I had good fun. I still never can get over every time Cole tells me it's time to start wrapping this up. We've got 2 hours down. I'm so surprised, and I'm sure he feels the same way. So
I do. I feel the exact same way. It just blows by. Like, suddenly it's been 2 hours. I'm sure we could spend even more time than that if we wanted to.
It's just one of those things, and you know, something that I suppose I've wanted to say this the last couple of episodes, but you know, this podcast or this live stream is only a new thing, and we're only doing a couple of them. But thank you very much to everybody who keeps tuning in regularly. I see the same people popping up and putting in questions and chatting and stuff, and you know, while I totally get that people appreciate the information we give out and all that stuff, you guys make it something worthwhile doing here as well, because it's nice to be able to see those regular faces and see you guys chatting and getting part in it. So thank you very much, I think, to everybody who keeps tuning in and keeps supporting it. And don't forget, lads, let other people know about the live stream as well. We have these... This is a monthly thing, and we're as long as we can possibly do it, we're going to keep trying to have this conversation on a monthly basis where we get to sit down and talk minis. And I know Cole is feverishly working in the background to get us some more different people on board and to bring other people in. And no, without a doubt, like, you know, it's not to be snubbed. You do put in a huge amount of effort to make this actually work. So it's appreciated, and I hope everybody out there who gets to watch these also appreciate the fact that you make it possible for us to get out here and to do this. So thank you very much to you, Cole, and yeah, get over there, guys, and support his channel. Please do support the
and
what he's trying
for
to do.
Mr. Paul.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just fluting around over here. I'm just delighted with life all the time. But thank you very much. I do appreciate it. But yes, let's keep chipping away, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes, see you guys there, and that is going to be on November 21st. You won't want to miss this next one. It has our first special guest, hopefully, if all things go well, and I think you guys are really, really going to like this one. I'll be both of us will be sending out lots of promotional material very soon.
Yeah. We'll send a teaser out. There'll be a teaser. Yeah. Alrighty then. Go on. We'll see you all very soon. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys.
See you later.
On the next one.